हे शिव शंकर नमामि शंकर।
Om Namah Shivaya. This is Simran.
And this is Rudransh.
We are on a spiritual trip to Adi Kailash with our parents.
We are en route towards Almora from Delhi. We were lucky to have visited Kenchi Dham, the most popular spiritual temple of Sri Bhagwan Neem Karoli Baba. After today's tiring journey, we halted at a beautiful hill station, Almora.
The beautiful morning of Almora, in midst of the hills and valleys, was mesmerizing. Our second day's journey is from Almora to Pithoragarh via Jageshwar Dham. Jageshwar Dham is an ancient Himalayan temple complex of Lord Shiva comprising of 125 temples dated between 7th and 14th centuries. This temple is situated in the deep forest valley of Deodar, oaks and pines along the Jataganga river. Jageshwar Dham is 36 kilometers away from Almora in the Kumaon region of Uttarakhand at an altitude of 1870 meters. The Jageshwar Dham temple cluster includes Jageshwar Temple, Chandika Temple, Mrityunjaya Temple, Kuber Temple, Surya Temple, Navdurga and Navgraha temples. These temples, mainly dedicated to Lord Shiva, consist of over 200 stone-cut temples which predominantly illustrate North Indian Nagara style of architecture and some South and Central Indian style designs. Jageshwar was once the center of Lakulish Saivism. At Jageshwar temple, many locals complete the post-cremation rites after the death of their loved ones. This valley also has a number of roadside shrines and Dandeshwar group of temples along the river. The Dandeshwar temple cluster comprises of up to 15 temples. The main temple is largest and dates back to the late centuries of the first millennium. The Jageshwar temple attracts thousands of pilgrims and visitors every day. The number increases during the month of Shravan and goes up to lakhs during the annual Mahashivratri Mela. Many pilgrims combine their pilgrimage to this temple with Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, Char Dham Yatras and other Himalayan pilgrimages.
After a divine darshan of Jageshwar Baba, we headed towards Pithoragarh, where we undergo medical tests and obtain permission from district administrations for higher altitude terrain treks. After obtaining permissions for Adi Kailash and Om Parvat treks, we headed towards Darchula. Darchula is a border town between India and Nepal, divided by the river Kali. It is also the beginning point of Kailash Mansarovar Yatra's trekking route. Many trekking paths, religious places, and spiritual peaks like Adi Kailash and Om Parvat are located on the same route. This thrilling and adventurous journey in midst of the deep valleys along the Kali River was adjourned due to massive landslides on the path.
ये देखो ऐसे बर्फबारी है।
Due to the landslides, we couldn't head further, so decided to venture nearby places like the Narayan Ashram. The upwards journey towards the Narayan Ashram through a newly carved road is not less adventurous. It was so pleasant that it tempts everyone to touch and experience the waterfall's chilly waters. Earlier this route, meant for trek by walking only, passes through mountainous hamlets and gives a wonderful experience on every curve. To witness this, here's the nature's very own amazing phenomenon, the rainbow.
Om Namah Shivaya. This is Vijaya. Narayan Ashram. It is located 24 kilometers away from Dharchula at an altitude of about 2700 meters en route Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. Narayan Ashram is a quiet and scenic meditation center and an educational hub. It is a symbol of socio-spiritual development. A social worker and a hermit, Narayan Swami, established this ashram in 1936. This place has a large following of solace seekers and it attracts large number of visitors every year. Initially it was just a small hut and it took 13 years to build the ashram completely. Narayan Ashram also served as first halt for Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. This ashram can accommodate and feed up to 50 people at a time. The Kumaon Mandal Vikas Nigam is also running an accommodation next to the ashram. This ashram has a library with rich collection of rare, ancient, important books, scriptures and writings. During winters, the ashram remains closed. The surrounding mountains, peaks, the quiet and peaceful environment of the ashram is the best place for those who are on their spiritual journey. The Narayana Ashram has a temple of Sri Narayan inside the main building.
Following a serene and joyous darshan at the Narayan Ashram, we continue to explore this area. Our guide, Jitu uncle, suggested trekking to Panchacholi base camp. The Dharma and Vyas valleys are the two major valleys in the higher Kumaon Himalayan peaks. Panchacholi peaks are situated in the Dharma valley of Kumaon Himalayan region. The Kumaon region of Uttarakhand begins with a hill range and progresses via alpine and semi-alpine terrain to glaciers.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shiva. Om Namah Shivaya. Hare Vandan Jet Prawahi Ganga ki dharaएं, दमन रूपाचे तल सांपों की मालाएं, शिव जी करते तांडव तो कष्ट कठिनाई मिट जाए, पर क्या हालत इस दुनिया की, उनको जाके अब कौन बनाए.
The vegetation, temperature, rainfall, and geological formations in these areas exhibit a great deal of variance. In these high altitude areas, the weather and temperature are erratic, can change suddenly. The most frequent risks in these areas include rapid rains, landslides and cloudbursts. After enjoying the roller coaster drive through the steep valleys and high hills, we reached a stunning settlement named Duktu. This is a small community with very few old stone and wood built homes, lacking access to contemporary conveniences and amenities. Only in the summer months this high altitude region is accessible. The people move down to the plains during the remaining months. Currently we are hiking towards the Panchacholi base camp, which is 3 to 4 kilometers away from Duktu.
Well, everybody, would you focus your mind? Search for the truth and you will find good spirit and strength from within.
The Panchacholi trek is an easy to moderate hike at a height of 12,000 to 14,000 feet above sea level. Above 10,000 feet from sea level is considered as high altitude, which can cause high altitude sickness, respiratory difficulties and UV exposure.
I should go across the sea and ocean and sing with the bird in the sky.
It is advised to prepare with thermal clothing, wearing gloves, hiking boots, UV protection eyewear and carrying a trekking pole in these places. Additionally, it is important to drink enough water and stay away from foods that are spicy, oily or fried.
Search for the truth and learn to be kind. Everybody, would you fight against the evil you find? Tell you religion of your mind. Me sing again.
Rare tree species like the Bhojpatra or the papyrus tree are seen here. Scriptures were once written on this tree's central pith, which was utilized as paper in ancient times. In addition, unique season and altitude specific flora and fauna can be found here.
Come say he who dwells in the secret place of the most.
At this altitude, we frequently experience headache, nausea, vomiting, constipation, loss of appetite and acidity. It is therefore recommended to have a few over-the-counter drugs on hand for such problems. As we ascend upwards, the height of the trees gets shorter, like alpines to pines, trees to plants, bushes to grass, and then finally snow-clad land. And the grass grows again as the snow melts. Through this hike, we became more aware of concerns related to breathing, stamina, walking speed, and other high altitude factors. Our body and mind are greatly gratified at the ease while we are out and about in the lovely green meadows, amid the flowing streams of snow-melted water that are surrounded by the mountain peaks. The Panchajuli peaks, literally translated as 5 peaks resembling 5 earthen stoves. These earthen stoves are thought to have been used by the Pandavas to cook their meals while they were exiled. The view from the huge peaks is simply marvelous. We moved towards Vyas Valley following the successful Panchachuli expedition, which left us with many exciting and adventurous experiences. We are currently on the Darchura-Lipulik Pass Road. This is a brand new road that was built over a former Kailash-Om Yatra trekking route. Currently we are in the area where a few days ago significant landslides occurred, and now it has been completely repaired and is open for traffic movement. Due to soil erosion and road construction work, landslides frequently occur along this breathtakingly scenic and adventurous path. This specific stretch is usually an exciting memory of Kailash Mansarovar Yatris, because most Yatris encounter this perilous landslip on their Gala Buddhi trekking route. This trekking route used to take up to 8 days in the past, including halts at the Narayanashram, Sirkha, Gala, Buddhi, Gunji and Kalapani. Now that this road is available to vehicles, especially for bikers and adventurous tourists, it is once in a lifetime opportunity. It appears as though the road cutting through the mountain separating India and Nepal reaches the summit of Chia Lake, where the enormous peaks of Annapurna may be seen. Lake, Valley of Flowers in the Kumaon Ranges, has enchanting flora and fauna, making it a pleasant sight to savor. A large varieties of floral species that bloom at this altitude and only during the rainy season are found here. After getting the permits checked by the authorities, here we proceed further to Gunji. We have now reached Gunji.
Kunji is a base camp at high altitude for the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. Here, a full medical examination for issues related to high altitude is undertaken. Only healthy persons can continue further. The Vyas Valley, named after the sage Vyasa, is where we are now travelling through as we approach Om Parvat. Our current location is Kalapani. Here, we went to a sacred Kali temple. The yatris engage in meditation, puja and bhajans. The sacred river, Kali, originates here outside the temple. This is the Vyas cave, where sage Vyasa meditated. And this is the magnificent Seshnag Parvat, which resembles a snake hood. We are proceeding towards Nabidhang. As well known, Uttarakhand, also known as the Dev Bhumi or land of gods, is famous for its spiritual and religious sites, especially the upper Himalayan mountains, which are magical and majestic. The holy route by which we are travelling through Nabidhang also leads to a mythical mount, the Om Parvat. The sacred sound of the universe, Om, can be observed inscribed organically on the mystical mountain top known as Om Parvat. Thus the name. This holy mountain is located at an altitude of 5,500 meters, approximately above sea level, at the intersection of three borders of three nations: India, Nepal and China. The sacred Kailash Mansarovar Yatra's last camp on the Indian side is located here. Lipulek Pass is just 6 kilometers away from here, where Kailash Mansarovar Yatris enter the Tibetan region. Here, every spiritual seeker unites with the divine Pranavanath Om, the eternal sound of the universe, reaching the pinnacle of spiritual heights.
जो शांत होके गूंजता मैं ही तो मैं सूक्ष्म हूँ विशाल भी पतन हूँ मैं विकास हूँ तमस हूँ मैं प्रकाश हूँ रुद्र हूँ निगल लो सब हाँ मैं ही वो विनाश हूँ मैं खंड हूँ मैं अखंड भी प्रचंड हूँ मैं ही शांति
हर हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव,
मैं ही तो
हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव,
हाँ मैं
हर हर महादेव।
शिव हूँ शिव हूँ शिव हूँ
Today is bright and a sunny day. We are on a last leg of the Adi Kailash Yatra from Gunji to Jolingkong. This is Kuti, the final settlement before reaching the Mount Adi Kailash. The history of this stunning old settlement, which is surrounded by magnificent snow-capped mountains, dates back to the period of Pandavas. This Pandavas fort is a relic to the past glory. The authorities meticulously examine the permits at this last checkpost before letting us proceed further. Adi Kailash is 14 kilometers away from this point. Now that we are on the glacier level, it is getting more difficult to move further upwards as the glaciers are melting and the roads are muddy and slippery. The drivers require precise skills to navigate through these difficult roads. Om Namah Shivaya. Here's the first glimpse of the holy Mount Adi Kailash. Adi Kailash is one of the Pancha Kailash, namely Adi Kailash, Mani Mahesh Kailash, Kinnor Kailash, Shrikhand Kailash and the Kailash Mansarovar. This is Jolingkong, the base camp of Adi Kailash at an altitude of 4,630 meters above sea level. From this point on, it is mandatory to trek or enter pony to reach Mount Adi Kailash. Because the Himalayas are where Lord Shiva meditates, they are filled with mystical and positive vibes. Lord Shiva's abode, heaven on earth, the Himalayas, remind us of him. Every person detaches from the materialistic world and unites with the inner consciousness as they ascend the heights of the Himalayas. It is believed that this sacred peak is Lord Shiva's earliest abode and he still meditates here during the winters. It is also believed that Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati resided here briefly after their marriage before relocating to Kailash Mansarovar. There is a Shiva Parvati temple at the base of Mount Adi Kailash where yatris pay their respects to Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. The height of the Mount Adi Kailash is approximately 4,900 meters above sea level. The deeper one's spiritual elevation, the more insight one has into their soul. Spiritual elevation occurs when we get closer to these summits. And this place is where the soul, Atma, merges with the Supreme Soul, Paramatma, Shiva. And this realization leads to the enlightenment that we are a part and parcel of the Paramatma. This enlightenment is the sole purpose of life. Adi Kailash is adorned with a beautiful Gaurikond lake at its foot. Yatris take a holy dip in the Gaurikond to cleanse their body and soul.
Tripurantagaya namaha, Rudraya haraya namaha.